Look at this life. Organic matter. Full of aliveness. Eros. Desiring more wholeness and communion with the sun and all of the elements surrounding. The elegance of Mother Nature. Such beautiful, perfect, magically dazzling order, infinite aliveness sourced in the field itself. 13.8 billion years in the making. Wow. It's alive. It's all alive. And they get bigger. They get bigger. So much uniqueness towering over us. A symphony of interconnections and intimacies. The soil, the microbes, the birds and the worms and the squirrels and the trees. Wow. I noticed yesterday I was on a break, and the irony is I'm also doing this right now, and I was about to go outside, and then I suddenly was like, oh wait a minute, what if I got that message? And so I went to my phone, and suddenly I went to my phone, and then there was another message, and there was another message, and another notification. I went off to this place and that place, and I didn't stand up at all. I was just in my chair. And I just noticed how often my attention gets hijacked by this thing that I'm looking at. Doesn't it get hijacked? So fascinating. And I'll just speak for myself, but I think this is a collective issue, as I lose touch with the very moment which is full of Eros and aliveness, the field of love, evolutionary love, let's call it, the field of interconnected, unified aliveness, the breath. You can feel it in the breath. Like this is true, Eros. And by Eros, I mean the force that animates everything. And that is the source of all of our aliveness. And so often we get seduced by Pseudo-Eros, the aliveness that comes from covering up the feeling of emptiness. The comfort cover-up, as Dr. Mark Goffman calls it. The Pseudo-Eros is when we turn our attention towards the separate parts and lose touch with the whole. It's a temporary hit of dopamine, and it gives us a temporary feeling of comfort, but in the process it trains our brain patterns and our whole being patterns to be short-sighted, short-circuited. So what would it be like if every break, every pause we had, every pause from activity that we had, was when we dropped in to the aliveness that's inherent in the deep now, the present, and when we can feel the sensations in our body, and the feelings in our heart, and the thoughts that come and go, and really just relax into that field of aliveness and feel connected to the beings around us, to be connected to that field. To be pleasured by that field, the scents, the sights, the aliveness. And my concern is that there's a whole generation of children who grew up without access to this true aliveness, and instead have been pseudo-aliveness. May they discover that the blinders can be taken off, and that the deep truth of their being, the intrinsic value of each and every being that's connected to the field, is available to them.